Rosalinda Morrone, thanks for coming here. You are the new guest of our podcast. If I'm correct, you should be the 11th speakers or the 10th. The first Italian. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but yeah.
Very good, very good.
We have been talking so far, British, American, never Italian so far.
Okay.
And I will just give you a short intro, and then of course you can introduce yourself. But essentially, you are a Sentinel-2 data quality expert, and you are based, I think, in Frascati, CEO.
Correct. Yes.
And that's what I want to say about you. The rest, if it's okay for you to give a bit of introduction. Yeah.
Of course, yes. So first of all, thank you very much, Alessandro, for this chat that we can have, and also it's very nice for me to share what I do as part of my daily work, but which is also part of myself. It's my passion. So thank you for this opportunity, and I hope that I can share all my background in the clear way as possible. So my name is Rosalinda. I'm Italian. I'm from Calabria, which is the region at the end of the boot. And I will start with do you think that it's better to start with my bachelor studies, and then step by step I can guide you to where I am now?
I was going to ask,
okay.
Essentially the beginning. Yeah.
Perfect. Yes, so I started with my bachelor studies at the University of Calabria, so in Italy, where I studied environmental engineering. And the reason why I chose to study environmental engineering was because I'm very passionate about nature. I think that nature itself, it's the best therapy for us. You know, when you go into nature and you stay there for one day, you feel refreshed. So I felt always, as probably all of us, very close to nature. But also another part of myself wanted to help, how can I say, nature, study and understand, especially in the context of climate change, how can I actually contribute to this kind of science. So I completed my bachelor studies there, which was a very kind of generic environmental engineering studies. Please stop me if you have any questions.
I have this bad habit, but just to say, so do you have any in mind already at that time you were going to, or interest in Earth observation space?
This is a very interesting question, because when I started, the answer is no. I was just going to, I was in my heart, I knew that I wanted to study nature and possibly also be in nature, spend time in nature for my job, you know. So I remember that we did an exam in my bachelor studies, which was GIS, so Geographic Information System, you know, a very basic exam, the first one that you do. And I remember it was a very intense exam, but I remember the passion that I felt when I was having a look at the maps, and I started to see things from above using my laptop. So that was our first feeling. And then based on that, it was a feeling, because, you know, in life, you never know what is actually your path, but you feel your instinct. So I decided then to do my master's studies in Milan. So I moved at the Polytechnic University of Milan.
I need to give a little background for non-Italian. So moving from Calabria to Milan is like changing country.
Yeah, basically,
weather, food, people.
Yes, it's very different. It's very different. But, you know, I was very clear at that point of my studies in general.
Why Milan?
Why? That's an important question. because it was the only university in Italy with a master in photogrammetry, remote sensing, data processing. So it was a very structured master. And so I decided to go. That was the first reason. There was no other choice, at least a few years ago when I did my studies. But at the same time, the University of Calabria, it's for engineering, it's very, very good. So, I also decided to go there because, of course, you still want to keep the same high level of quality of your studies. So in that way, I have to say that the University of Calabria was very good. I had a very strong theoretical background, which of course during my master became a bit more practical. So I did my master there, and it was very good, both for not only for my studies, but also as a personal growth, because the environment is very different. I will say that in Milan, at least for me, it was kind of more practical. Yes. And also the relationship with the professors was different. So you start building your skills even there, not just for your studies. Again, it's also your personal growth, right?
And then after Milan,
okay, there is another level. Yes. Of course, during my master, my passion for remote sensing became stronger and stronger. So I was, I will say, happy about my choice. And then I decided, I did my best to do a master thesis abroad. So again, from Calabria to Milan, then I moved to the north of Europe at the University of Leicester. So I spent there 6 months just for my master, for my to do like a research project for 6 months, which then ended up to be my master thesis in Milan. That was another important experience, I have to say. And there I focused on a research project where I used the remote sensing images, Sentinel-2 images. So there I started to use Sentinel-2 to study the quality of the ecosystem of a forest in Poland, which was subjected to deforestation. So it was a mix of like using Python, so programming language, remote sensing images with the final goal to use a model to study the environment itself and the consequences of the deforestation. So it was a very intense project for 6 months, but an amazing team. There is an amazing team there.
And how important was going to Leicester abroad in general? I mean, was again more on the personal growth or technical growth? How was that experience?
I think that personal is the first answer, because I felt the need to go abroad and expand my, the people that I knew. But also I want to say that I decided, so I spent basically 6 months before leaving for the UK looking for an opportunity. So it was a long process. It was not, the University of Milan was not, the Polytechnic of Milan was not connected to the University of Leicester. I kind of created the link based on my
interest.
Yes, of my interest, exactly.
And is there any, at least from your experience, any big difference between these three universities you have?
Oh, yes, completely different. What is different is the environment. So of course, when I was in Calabria, it's still, I think that the approach is it's a bit distant. So there is kind of a distance between the professors and the students. Probably even because I was like studying there for my bachelor degree, so professors still want to keep, probably the authority, I will say. In Milan, I felt a great connection, not with all the professors, but with some of them. And still, when I come back to Milan, I go and visit some of them, especially my relator. Yes, we had a very good, communication. And in Leicester, of course, I was not kind of a student anymore. I was already a researcher there, so I was much more independent. There was, of course, still a mentor, but most of the time I was independent, and that was the big step in my, I will say, personal and professional growth, like to be independent and try and solve the problems by myself. Of course, when I could do that. Otherwise, it's always good to go to other people and ask, and especially on the programming side, I'm not a software engineer, so
and
I
also
had
before ChatGPT and
indeed.
Yeah.
So that was the most challenging bit. Learn like Python and in general, how to approach to the programming skills. But all good. I have a very great memory about those 6 months. Yes.
And then you finish in Leicester. What happened? Your experience in the UK?
Yes. Well, I graduated in Italy, so straight after my 6 months in Leicester. And then well, of course, that was the point where you will start working, right? I was also thinking to do a PhD. I was a bit confused, like about doing a PhD or a research job, but in life you don't decide everything. I remember that my professor at the Polytechnic University of Milan tried to guide me because there were some companies in Milan which were interested in my potential role. And that is a very good thing of the Polytechnic in Milan. They are very connected already with the real world outside the university. But I will say that I didn't feel the call to go there. So the opportunity was already around the corner, but there was something in my gut saying this is not for you. So I took like 2 months after my graduation and started to look for opportunities abroad because I still wanted to be abroad. And I just looked for some of them. I sent some CV for existing open positions. Of course, I was very fresh still after my graduation, so I was really open to adapt. Until I had this conversation with NPL, which is the National Physical Laboratory in London. It's the National Meteorology Institute, a very important institute, very well known around the world, as you probably know. Yeah, I did with them some interviews. And in particular with the team in the institution, which is the Climate and Earth Observation Group. So they are very focused on remote sensing. And they actually were looking for a fresh person straight after the graduation, because still you can, teach to the person,
So the things you learned during your master and thesis, were they somehow useful for finding this position on NPL, or was more like your capability in adapting?
Both.
Okay.
Both. I think that the experience in Leicester made the difference because, of course, they understood that my English was good, that I was open to move to and live in another country, which, of course, you know better than me, as we have also this experience that it could be very challenging, especially when you
especially
go
from the south.
Indeed, from
Let's
Italy, to London. Yes. So I think that the experience in Leicester made the difference, both for them, but also for me. I was much more confident in having my first interview with someone in English. And, so I think that the experience in Leicester was super important. So basically, from one week to the other, after literally 1 month, 1 month and a half, or 2 months, something like that, after my graduation, I moved to London. So I started to work there as a research scientist in Earth observation. I spent 4 years in total in London working for NPL. It was an amazing experience and very intense in terms of what I learned. So my role was focused on like working on calibration of ground truth data and the validation of remote sensing images. So I worked with Sentinel-2 images, and the goal of my role and of my team in general was to compare satellite images with the data that we took on the ground to understand what's the reliability of the satellite images. And there I used a lot of Sentinel-2 images, and I took part to ESA projects. So I was working from ESA, but from another point of view. Outside, exactly. Yes.
And 4 years in London. Then why you left? If I'm being indiscreet.
I still don't have an answer. That I have to say, because it was one of the most difficult choices in my life. As I was very happy with my role, I was very happy with my job there. Because I also want to say that the role was very research based, and I love research, like diving to maths and science in general. But at the same time, I think that I felt that my experience abroad was kind of over. And I just started very randomly to look for other opportunities, just looking for them, without like a real need to change, because again I was happy with my role. But I found this opportunity to work for a startup remotely. So I could still work for a startup, which was UK based, still doing research on remote sensing. But I had in the startup they gave me the opportunity to start a project. So what inspired me about the opportunity was like to start a project which I can lead, and at the same time I can work from everywhere. Things has changed during COVID, because I was in London during COVID. So things changed. So it was a mix of reasons, both professional and also personal. I have to say that for an Italian staying in a country where you don't see the sun for many months in the winter, for me it was a bit challenging at some point. I'll be honest.
So, and did you have a specific place in Italy when you came back? You wanted to be anywhere in Italy?
Well, the thing is that it took me a few months to, then to come back to Italy. So I moved back, still working for this startup. And the project was still very focused on remote sensing and focused on soil organic carbon. So at NPL, I was working more on vegetation, and in the startup, I really learned other things about soil, which were very new. We did also some campaigns, like in some actually location in the UK. So yeah, I moved back to Italy, and after a few months, the project was not really having any funding opportunities. So basically, I left. Because again, the startups are very different from public institutions. So, at MPL, the work was really focused. We had some projects, but in the startup, you really have to adapt to the economy of the startup. So it was very challenging there, I have to say.
So you have been, of course, academia, research institution, and startup. From your experience, what's the best and worst part of each of these?
Can I answer to your question after I tell you my experience now at
Okay.
ESA? So we will have the final picture.
The final, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I moved back to Italy. I was working for the startup, but then I had to leave. And it was actually good for me to have like more or less 3 months off. So I was not working. I was in Italy, so with also my family. And it was 4 years that I started to work. So I took those months, to think about my career at that point, like what do I feel to do now? There was still in my mind the idea of a PhD, which at the end I never did, at least so far. So I was a bit confused. As as you also know, I'm very passionate about scientific communication. So I tried to explore if it was possible for me to embrace that kind of environment. But I realized that my CV is actually too technical to really start a job on that. But still, I'm trying to do that in my free time. And there was, when I was looking for other opportunities, both in Italy and abroad. So again, I was always very open, maybe not in the UK anymore or North Europe, but still I was very open to move again based on what was meant to be. But there was this opportunity here at ESA. I knew already actually some people working here in Esdrin for Sentinel-2 because thanks to MPL, I came here quite often for conferences and meetings. So I knew some people already. That's why it's important, when you do a job, to try and meet people actually, right? You know this also better than me, I guess.
Yeah, the personal connection.
Exactly. So actually, there was a role opened here, which is the role that I actually cover now. So Sentinel-2 data quality expert. And they kind of knew me already because already we met in the conferences and meetings. Of course, we did the formal procedure, the technical interview. And I also want to say that I'm not directly hired by ESA. I am a contractor for ESA, meaning that there is an external company which ESA pays to cover this role. Yes. So it's I'm here at ESA. I work at Esdrin on site, but still, of course, being hired by ESA is different in terms of responsibility and role itself. But I really like my position. It's still, I focus on Sentinel-2, which is a Copernicus mission. For the people who don't know it, it's part of the Copernicus program. So it's a European program founded by the European Commission. And the goal of this mission and of the 6 missions which are part of the Copernicus program is to monitor the health of our planet, working like monitoring, like, for example, soil, land use, land cover, atmosphere. It depends on the mission itself. Yes, but Sentinel-2, it's an optical mission. I am an optical person, so there are other missions working on radar, so altimetry, but I focus on optical. And my
Just
role
to have an idea, how many people, for example, work on the Sentinel-2? I'm thinking about the whole cycle from checking is in orbit to validating the product.
Okay.
A rough idea, just to give people.
Yes, of course. Well, my role is very focused, as I mentioned, on data quality. So my goal is to make sure that the quality of the image that we deliver to the users is the best that we can deliver, and it reflects some standards, especially because Sentinel-2 is used as a reference for other satellites which are now launched by industries. Then, apart from the data quality team, which is here, and we are just a few people, probably 3, something like that, we have also the mission manager who makes sure with then is also team working, like, for example, on the orbits, and especially trying, my role and also the role of the mission manager is actually trying to gather the feedback of the users and the feedback of the Copernicus services, because of course they are super important for us. First, because they found our missions, but also because at the end of the day, they are the users. So they use our images for exactly their own studies. We had a very important, we had regular meetings with them to make sure that we are aligned. Then we have also the ground segment team. They are basically the people who receive the data and process the data, because all the Sentinel images have different levels, from the raw images to the images that we actually deliver. Right. Okay. And then we have, for example, also the team. So this team is based here in Esdrin, but we have also the flight operation people who actually they are based in Germany at ESOC, and they are more part of like planning, so the mission planning.
Okay.
So it's a very delicate, because they do all the maneuvers of the satellite when needed, when requested.
Wow.
We have currently 3 satellites in orbit as part of Sentinel-2, Sentinel-2A, B, and C. The C unit was launched exactly 1 year ago. It was the 4th of September 2024. I started my role in June, so for me it was a very intense moment. Very important also, and yeah, so we are based mostly here, at least for Sentinel-2, in Esdrin, in Germany, and in Netherlands, where there is another team working for the Sentinel-2 next generation. So basically they are already thinking 10 years ahead from now, how we can improve the mission, what we can do to meet the user request, and even because this world is constantly changing, so it's not as easy as it seems. So there are people already thinking 10 years ahead.
And I want now to ask essentially the reason why I initially contacted you, because you on your social LinkedIn, you talk about a lot about the connection between art and science.
Yes.
So it's part, I don't know, part of you, something you do in your free time, your passion, or now it's part of your role as well. I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
that's thank you for the question. This is very important for me indeed, because this is not part of my role at all. My role in Artisa is very technical, and again focused on the quality of the images. But in my free time, I usually write. So I published a book of poems. It's in Italian.
What's the title?
Sorry?
The title.
The title in Italian is Eclissi, so in English is Eclipse. It's there are some poems where I don't know, I tried to create a connection between the universe and the human soul. So at the same time, at some point, as I told you when I started to talk about my career and also personal path, I told you there was an instinct in myself which connected me to these images. Like for me, when I see an image of the Earth from above, it moves me. It's incredible to see. It's really a work of art, and I invite you all to have a look at the images, even because the Sentinel-2 images, but also the other ones, are available for everyone online. So you have to register to a specific platform. Of course, I can give you more information, but everyone can access. That's the beauty also of our program. So at some point, in our society, we are very structured. So I am a writer, I am a communicator, I am a scientist. At the end of the day, it's everything is really interconnected. At least I see these connections. So I started, to play with my writing and some Earth observation images. Recently, it was the first time that I presented my poems with some with satellite images. So I literally created a visual connection between them at the Living Planet Symposium, which is a conference. Please.
I think, I saw you were giving, I think we were in the Agora, I don't know
Yes.
how it was called, but you were too busy, there were too many people. So
you were there?
Yeah.
Oh no!
I remember.
Okay. It's a shame we didn't.
It's okay, but so it's something you will still, I mean, keep keen to pursue and bring
Yes,
forward.
yes, I hope so. Of course, it's not my role, so my job. So I need to make time to find the time, and of course, it's not easy, and also the inspiration.
Do you think, I don't know, you will write another book, or you want to do, I don't know, documentary, or do something in your, let's say, dream or ambition?
I'll tell you that I don't know, because when you are in this kind of world where you have where you don't follow a project or a path, it's creation. Okay, when you create something, you connect to a part of yourself that you still don't know, and it's very difficult, it's very challenging. It's not science, you're not doing math. Okay, so it's a different language. And I write almost every day, but all my writings are basically everywhere. So in my daily role, I'm very structured, okay? I'm very tidy. But when in my poems, some of my poems are on my laptop, other are in my agendas, other are on my phone. Because sometimes when I feel the urge to write, I write, okay? It's really connected to the emotions. And so I hope that one day I will publish another book, or I will do an exposition where I can create this connection between remote sensing images and poems, or in general writing or whatever. But my hope is that I can, how can I say, remove all these boundaries that we have in this society. Try and see things as much open as possible, and see the beauty in everything. There is a beauty in math, there is a beauty in science, there is a beauty in art. And when you try to connect these, at least for me, this is what I'm experiencing in this moment of my life. That's where I really find an emotion, I will say.
I think with this, I think it's better we conclude with this.
Thank you.
It's a nice, almost emotional. Honestly, I feel touched.
Oh, that's very important for me. And I invite everyone who is going to watch this video to contact Alessandro or me for any other, information, or just to chat.
Yeah, thanks. And yeah, that's let's say the scope. Somehow this interview is just to, hopefully inspire people, getting them interested in space, art, science.
Of course. Yes.
Through these stories, because everyone has its own different stories, path. So,
I agree.
Thanks, Rosalinda. Thanks for
Thank you, Alessandro.
spending this time with me. And we'll just stop.